The compliment that changed everything. The maintenance bay of mining station. Kronos 9 hummed with the constant vibration of massive or processors. Marcus Reed wiped grease from his hands, admiring the newly repaired plasma conduit that snaked along the bulkhead. After 3 years working the outer rim, he had become the go-to mechanic for anything the automated systems couldn't handle. Another day, another broken hyperdrive, he muttered, gathering his tools. The pay was decent, but the isolation of deep space got to most people. Marcus didn't mind the solitude much, though he sometimes missed simple human conversations. He stepped into the main corridor. The artificial gravity hummed beneath his feet. Various alien species populated the station, from the insectoid Kethra to the aquatic Mordans in their environmental suits. Marcus nodded politely to those he passed, maintaining the respectful distance most species preferred. That's when he saw her. She stood nearly 8 feet tall, her powerful frame evident even through the sleek, dark blue uniform of the Zarian Defense Corps. Her skin held a deep violet hue with intricate silver markings that seemed to pulse with their own inner light along her arms and neck. Her hair fell in waves of deepest black, with streaks of silver that caught the corridor lighting. Marcus had seen Zarians before, but never one who moved with such fluid grace. She carried herself with the confidence of someone accustomed to command. Her violet eyes scanning the crowd with professional assessment, their eyes met across the busy thoroughfare. For a moment, time seemed suspended. Her gaze was intense, intelligent, with depths that suggested she had seen more of the galaxy than most beings twice her age. Without really thinking about it, Marcus found himself approaching. "Excuse me," he said, his voice steadier than he felt. "I hope this doesn't sound inappropriate, but those markings on your skin are absolutely beautiful. They're like living artwork." The tall Zarian woman stopped completely, her violet eyes widening. The silver markings along her arms suddenly flared brighter, pulsing in a rhythm Marcus didn't recognize. Other Zarians in the corridor turned to stare, their own markings beginning to glow in response. "You are the human technician Marcus Reed," she said, her voice carrying a melodic quality that made his name sound almost musical. "It wasn't a question. That's right, and you are Commander Zara Velthari of the Zarian 4th Fleet." She stepped closer, her presence both commanding and oddly comforting. "Your words carry more weight than you realize, Marcus Reed." Before he could ask what she meant, she placed her hand on his arm. Her touch was warm, and the silver markings where they connected seemed to pulse and sync with his heartbeat. Sensation was electric, sending unexpected warmth through his entire body. By acknowledging the sacred patterns, she continued, her voice dropping to something almost intimate. "You have initiated the Velthera, the soul recognition. Among my people, this begins the bonding ritual." Marcus blinked, certain he had misheard. "I'm sorry, the what now?" Zara's lips curved into what might have been a smile, though her expression remained serious. "You have claimed me, Marcus Reed, and I find myself not unwilling to be claimed." The crowd around them had grown, various species stopping to witness what was clearly becoming a significant event. Marcus felt heat rising in his cheeks as he realized he was the center of attention. "Commander, I think there's been a misunderstanding. On Earth, complimenting someone's appearance is just being polite. I wasn't trying to claim anything." "Perhaps." "Not consciously," Zara replied, her hand still resting on his arm. "But the Velthera does not lie. Your soul recognized mine just as mine has recognized yours." Her markings pulsed brighter, and Marcus could swear he felt an answering rhythm in his own pulse. The Cultural Collisionth Administrative Office of Station. Kronos 9 buzzed with tension as Marcus sat across from Commander Zara, both facing station. Administrator Torres, a graying human woman who looked like she'd rather be anywhere else in the galaxy. "Let me understand this correctly," Torres said, consulting her tablet. "Mr. Reed complimented Commander Velthari markings ... and now they're married?" "Bonded," Zara corrected, her violet eyes never leaving Marcus. "The Velthera is more profound than your human marriage concept. It is a recognition of compatible souls across species barriers." Marcus ran his hands through his brown hair, still trying to process the situation. "Look, I respect your culture, Commander, but I genuinely had no idea that saying someone looked nice would result in ... This Zara leaned forward slightly, her silver markings shimmering. Your ignorance of our ways does not diminish the truth of what occurred. The patterns do not respond to mere politeness, Marcus. They respond to genuine recognition. What exactly does this bonding entail? Torres asked, clearly uncomfortable with the direction the conversation was taking. Zara's single quotes expression grew more serious. Among the Zarian, the Velthara creates a spiritual and physical connection. Once initiated, it cannot be undone without grave consequences to both parties. The bonded pair share life energy, emotional resonance, and work. She paused, her gaze intensifying as she looked at Marcus's physical harmony. Marcus felt his face burning. Physical harmony? The bond requires consummation within 7 solar cycles, or both parties will experience ... deterioration, weakness, disorientation, eventually death. Zara's voice softened. It is not a curse, Marcus. It is meant to ensure that only true soul matches attempt the bonding. Torres set down her tablet. This is unprecedented. I'll need to contact both Earth's diplomatic corps and the Zarian Council. Unnecessary. A new voice interrupted. They turned to see another Zarian entering the office, this one male, even taller than Zara, and with deeper purple skin and gold markings instead of silver. His uniform bore the insignia of high command. General Kethfer Zara stood immediately, offering a formal salute. Commander Velthari, I came as soon as I received word. His golden eyes fixed on Marcus with unmistakable disapproval. So, this is the human who dares claim a daughter of the 4th house? He didn't claim anything, Zara said firmly. The Velthara chose him. The Velthara can be mistaken, Kethver replied coldly, especially when initiated by an ignorant alien who knows nothing of our ways. Marcus stood, feeling defensive despite his confusion. With respect, General, I may be ignorant of your customs, but I'm not stupid. If Commander Velthari says something important happened, then something important happened. I just need to understand what it means. Kethver studied him with renewed interest. You accept the bond? Marcus looked at Zara, whose violet eyes held something that looked like hope mixed with vulnerability. Her markings had dimmed since the general's arrival, and he found himself missing their warm glow. I accept that I've gotten myself into something. Way over my head, Marcus said honestly. But if Zara says we're connected, then we need to figure out what that means. Zara's markings flared brighter at his use of her name, and Marcus felt that same electric warmth spread through him. This time, he didn't fight the sensation. The human shows more wisdom than expected, Kethver admitted grudgingly. Very well. The bonding will be recognized, but only if both parties survive the trial period. 7 days to determine if this supposed connection can withstand the reality of cultural differences. As the general left, Zara moved closer to Marcus, her hand finding his again. Are you certain about this path, Marcus Reed? Once we begin, there is no retreat. Looking into her violet eyes, Marcus felt something shift inside him, something deeper than attraction or curiosity. I'm certain I want to find out what this feeling means. The challenge accepted following morning brought an unwelcome visitor to Marcus's quarters. He opened the door to find a Zarian warrior, even more imposing than General Kethfer. This one's skin was nearly black-purple, his silver markings formed in aggressive, angular patterns that seemed to move like lightning across his massive frame. You are the human Marcus Reed, the warrior stated, his voice carrying the rumble of distant thunder. Depends who's asking, Marcus replied, suddenly very aware of his human fragility. I am Thane Mordock, champion of the 3rd house. His pale blue eyes fixed on Marcus with predatory intensity. I come to issue challenge for the hand of Commander Zara Velthari. Marcus blinked. I'm sorry, challenge. The Velthara may have bound you human, but bonds can be severed through trial by combat. I claim prior right to court the commander. Before Marcus could respond, Zara appeared in the corridor behind Mordock, her own markings flaring with what looked like anger. Thane Mordock, you overstep your bounds. The massive warrior turned, his expression shifting to something almost reverent. Beautiful Zara, you cannot seriously intend to waste your life essence on this fragile creature. I offer you strength, honor, a worthy bloodline. You offer me nothing I desire, Zara replied coolly, moving to stand beside Marcus. Her hand found his, and he felt that now familiar electric warmth flow between them. The Velthara has chosen. Markings flashed dangerously. Then let the choice be tested. Human, do you accept the challenge of mortar, trial by combat? Marcus looked at the warrior who was easily twice his size, and probably 3 times his strength. What happens if I refuse? Then you are declared unworthy. The bond is severed, and Commander Velthari is free to choose a proper mate. And if I accept, we fight until one yields or dies. Marcus felt Zara's grip tighten on his hand. When he looked at her, he saw worry in her violet eyes, but also something else, belief. There are rules to mortar, she said quietly. Weapons. Of choice. Arena combat. Witnesses required. It is not simply a brawl. Marcus considered his options. He was a mechanic, not a warrior. But the thought of losing Zara, of never again feeling that incredible connection they shared, was worse than the fear of facing Mordok. I accept, he said, surprised by the steadiness of his own voice. Mordok's aggressive markings flared brighter. Wise choice, human. Tomorrow at midday, in the combat arena.
IQ.
Choose your weapon. After the warrior left, Zara turned to Marcus. Her expression, a mix of pride and concern. She didn't have to accept. There are other ways to handle challenges. What? I could have renounced my claim to you, declared the bond false. She moved closer, her hand coming up to rest against his chest. But I find I do not wish to do so. Marcus covered her hand with his own, marveling at how right it felt. Then we face this together. What do you know about this mortar? Zara's expression grew thoughtful. It is ancient law, meant to prevent weak bonds from forming. But Marcus, you must understand, Zarian warriors train from childhood. Thane Mordok has never been defeated, and I guess I'll have to be his. First loss, Marcus said, trying to project more confidence than he felt. That evening, Zara came to his quarters to help him prepare. She moved with fluid grace through his small living space, her presence making everything feel different, more alive. Tell me about Zarian combat, Marcus said, watching her examine the limited weapon selections available on the station. We fight, with honor, but also with cunning. Strength alone does not always prevail. She turned to face him, her markings pulsing gently. But there is something you must know about the Velthara, something that might help. She stepped closer, close enough that he could feel the warmth radiating from her skin. When we are near each other, especially when we touch, we share more than just comfort. We share strength, reflexes, instinct. To demonstrate, she placed both hands on his arms. Immediately, Marcus felt a surge of energy, his senses sharpening, his muscles feeling more responsive than they ever had. The bond makes us stronger together, Zara whispered, her face now inches from his. Tomorrow. Remember that. Heart over Strength combat arena was packed with beings from dozens of species, all eager to witness the unprecedented trial. Marcus stood in the center of the circular platform, a composite staff in his hands, the closest thing to familiar he could find among the available weapons. Across from him, Thane Mordok looked like a force of nature, his massive frame encased in ceremonial combat armor, wielding a weapon that resembled a cross between a spear and an energy sword. Combatants ready, called the Arbiter, a neutral species chosen to oversee the trial. Marcus glanced up at the observation deck, where Zara stood with other Zarian officials. Even at this distance, he could see her markings glowing, and he felt that warm connection flowing between them. Ready? He called out. Begin. Mordok moved with surprising speed for his size, his weapon cutting through the air where Marcus had been standing a split second before. Only the enhanced reflexes from his bond with Zara had saved him from immediate defeat. Fast for a human, Mordok acknowledged, circling like a predator. But speed will not save you from superior strength. He attacked again, this time in a series of calculated strikes that drove Marcus backward across the platform. Each block sent shockwaves up Marcus's arms, and he realized quickly that he couldn't match the warrior's raw power. But as the fight continued, Something strange began to happen. Every time Mordok pressed his attack, Marcus found himself moving in ways that felt both foreign and natural. His body seemed to know techniques he had never learned, defensive patterns that kept him alive against impossible odds. "You fight," like Zarian Mordok said. Breathing harder now? Is this possible? Marcus dodged another strike, suddenly understanding. "The bond?" he gasped. "She's sharing her knowledge with me." In the observation deck, Zara's markings were blazing brighter than anyone had ever seen them, entire body trembling with the effort of maintaining the connection across the arena. Mordecai's attacks became more desperate, more brutal. "Unnatural," he roared. "You pollute her with your alien essence." "Maybe," Marcus replied, finding his rhythm now. "Or maybe this is exactly what was supposed to happen." Instead of continuing to defend, Marcus went on the offense. Couldn't match Mordecai's strength, but he was faster, more adaptable. Where the Zarian warrior expected power, Marcus gave him precision. Where Mordok anticipated traditional combat, Marcus improvised with techniques born from human ingenuity and Zarian instinct. The turning point came when Mordok, frustrated by his inability to land a decisive blow, overcommitted to a massive strike. Marcus sidestepped, using the warrior's own momentum against him, and landed a perfect strike across Mordok's weapon arm. The massive warrior stumbled, his weapon clattering across the platform. "Yield," Marcus said, pointing his staff at Mordok's throat. For a moment, the arena was completely silent. Then Mordok began to laugh, a deep rumbling sound that echoed off the walls. "Credible," he said, looking up at Marcus with something like respect. "The human fights with Zarian skill, but human creativity." The Velthera was not mistaken. He raised his uninjured hand. "I yield to the rightful mate of Commander Zara Velthari." The crowd erupted in cheers from multiple species, but Marcus only had eyes for Zara as she leaped from the observation deck, her powerful legs carrying her across the arena floor to land gracefully beside him. "Marcus," she breathed, her hands coming up to frame his face. Her markings were still glowing intensely, and he could feel the connection between them stronger than ever. "I told you we were stronger together," he said, grinning despite his exhaustion. "Prove it," she whispered, and kissed him. The kiss was electric, literally.
Ow.
Their combined energy created a light show of silver and gold that painted the entire arena in magical illumination. Marcus felt her strength flowing into him while his human adaptability flowed into her, creating something entirely new. When they finally broke apart, the crowd was on its feet, cheering not just for the victory, but for the obvious love between two beings who had found their perfect match across the vastness of space. New horizons together 6 months after the trial. Marcus and Zara stood on the observation deck of their new ship, the Velthara's Dream, watching a binary star system paint space in hues of gold and crimson. The vessel was a hybrid design, combining human engineering efficiency with Zarian elegance, much like their relationship. "The terraforming colony on Kepler 4-4 to be confirmed our arrival window," Zara said, consulting her command tablet. Her markings had evolved since their bonding, now carrying threads of blue that matched Marcus's eyes, a change that amazed Zarian scientists. "Good," Marcus replied, his arm around her waist as they watched space drift by. "I'm looking forward to building something from the ground up instead of just fixing what's broken." Their bonding had created ripples throughout both human and Zarian space. Cultural exchanges were being established, with scientists from both species studying the unprecedented success of their cross-species bond. Some called it evolution. Others called it miracle. "Do you ever regret it?" Zara asked softly, leaving everything familiar behind. Marcus turned to face her fully, his hands coming up to trace the silver patterns on her arms that now pulsed in perfect rhythm with his heartbeat. "How could I regret finding the other half of my soul?" She smiled, her violet eyes sparkling with mischief.
Such romantic words from a simple mechanic. Former mechanic, he corrected, pulling her closer. "Now I'm a partner in the most exclusive
engineering firm in the galaxy." It was true. Their unique connection had proven invaluable in solving complex technical problems. Zara's Zarian intuition, combined with Marcus's human innovation, had already resulted in 3 patents in a lucrative contract with the Galactic Exploration Consortium. Our first joint project arrives in 7 standard days, Zara reminded him, her hand moving to rest on her still flat stomach. Marcus's face lit up with wonder and slight terror. Zarian human pregnancies were theoretical until theirs, and the medical team was fascinated by how their bonded genetics were adapting to create something entirely new. Half human, half Zarian, completely ours, he said, his voice full of awe. A first of many bridges between our species, Zara agreed. General Kethver believes our children will be able to bond with both humans and Zarians, creating a new branch of galactic civilization. No pressure, Marcus laughed, then grew serious. Are you ready for this? Pioneering a new world? Raising hybrid children? Being the poster couple for interspecies relations? Yes. Zara's markings flared bright with confidence and love. With you, I am ready for anything the galaxy can offer. As if to punctuate her words, the ship's communication system chimed with an incoming message from the Kepler colony. Zara accepted the transmission, and a holographic figure appeared, Human Colonial Administrator Chen, Commander Velthari. Mr. Reed, welcome to the Kepler system. We're honored to have the galaxy's most famous couple joining our colony. Your housing complex is prepared, and we have 17 different engineering projects waiting for your unique expertise. Understood, Administrator, Zara replied professionally. We're looking forward to contributing to Kepler's growth. After the transmission ended, Marcus pulled Zara into his arms again, marveling at how perfectly she fit against him despite their size difference. Ready to make history, Commander? With you, my beloved human, she whispered against his lips. I am ready to make miracles. Their kiss was interrupted by a gentle chiming from Zara's medical monitor, the first heartbeat of their unborn child. Strong and steady, carrying the rhythm of 2 species, learning to become one. Outside their viewport, the binary stars continued. Their eternal dance, 2 different celestial bodies, locked in perfect harmony, creating something beautiful and new in the vastness of space. Just like Marcus and Zara, they had found that love truly could bridge any distance, overcome any difference, and create wonders that neither could achieve alone. The Velthara's dream sailed onward toward their new home, carrying not just 2 lovers, but the future of galactic civilization in their extraordinary bond.